4 days after the tap water ammonia spike. We've had no fish die so far, and the majority of them are still eating, so let's have a talk about dealing with ammonia. So ammonia is usually built up in a fish tank when fish are excreting, or when you've got uneaten food or anything like that that's rotting at the bottom of the fish tank. This only happens when your tank isn't cycled, and having these tanks running for about a year and a half, 2 years, that's not the issue here. The issue is when I did the water change, I didn't test the ammonia levels in the tap water coming out of the tap, which I usually do because I were in a rush, and it turned out there were about 0.1 parts per million of ammonia just straight in the tap water. So essentially I threw that into my tank, which caused the high ammonia reading when I tested it, which affects the fish in a major way. And a lot of them, straight after the water change, were flashing and the fins started to pin to the body, which is not a good sign for any fish keeper. So the first thing you'll need as a hobbyist to identify ammonia in a fish tank is a API freshwater master test kit, which enables you to check the nitrites in your tank, your nitrates, your ammonia, and also your pH. As I touched on, since the ammonia issue, this guy's been eating, he's been doing all right. So if you're a long-time subscriber of the channel, just know he's doing fine, and we're not going to let anything occur to that guy. His coloration's still pretty good, and he's still eating, even though I've cut down food. That's important when you're going through a little ammonia spike, is to cut down food, which obviously limits the amount of waste that the fish can produce because they're not consuming as much. Another important thing to implement is aeration, and as you can see, I've added that bubbler, which just helps to oxygenate the tank. Another thing that you can do to help rid the tank of ammonia, or at least limit its effect, is to add more beneficial bacteria into your filter. And as you can see, I've added some more of the Cecum matrix, which is already seeded from another tank. And the sponge filter has also been in this tank for about 1 or 2 years, so that has plenty of beneficial bacteria within it as well, which should be helping. The aerator's there right behind the filter, and I also hung this Java moss over the little tank divider just to help absorb the ammonia within the water column. I also used the correct amount of Cecum Safe in order to detoxify the ammonia within the water column, meaning the ammonia will still be present in the tank, but the fish won't feel its effects, as the Cecum Safe product that I implemented detoxified it, rendering it harmless to the fish if the product does what it says it does. So there you have it, guys. These are the techniques and tips that I've implemented over the last 4 days in order to keep these fish alive. And although it looked a bit dicey when I made the video the other day, no fish have died in the last 4 days, even though I've got some really small blue neon fry in this side of the tank. So I'm absolutely buzzing about that, because at first it looked like I were going to lose quite a lot of them. But I'm hopefully now in the clear, and even the smallest blue neon's eaten. But as I'm sure many of you know, when it rains it pours, and I'm now having a rather stubborn issue with the 10-gallon planted tank, which still looks good from afar, but when you get close it looks far from good. And as you can see, I've had an infestation of BBA, commonly known as black beard algae or black brush algae, which I'm currently trying to combat in numerous ways. If you've got any hints and tips on it, please let me know in the comments, although I'm currently trying to use the spot dosing method using Cecum XL, and I've also ramped the lights down and hired my little gooseneck light in order to lower the intensity of light hitting the tank on a daily basis. So as I just touched on, if you're a hobbyist that has beaten this BBA before, let me know what you did to beat it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I definitely need help with this tank because I'm still relatively new to planted tanks, so that'd be much appreciated. Thanks for helping, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.